I just wanted to take a minute to talk a little bit about how I feel about foreign policy. Uh, I I hear a lot of argument about what we're doing in the Middle East. I don't hear so much argument about what we're doing in Europe or in Africa or in Southeast Asia or in Australia or anywhere else in the world where we have lots of troops just kicking it, doing military operations, blowing stuff up. People don't really know about all this, but that's just because it's not as controversial as what's going on in the Middle East. And now I'll say that I totally agree with the argument that people make about our Middle East operations. That I mean, we have soldiers that go over there from all different branches, and they get messed up in a lot of different ways. It kind of blew my mind thinking about that march in D.C. where the veterans held a hand salute for 1 second for each individual service member who has committed suicide since Obama took office. The thing about that is, like, sort of politically motivated. I would think along terms of party lines, and don't take that as an accusation, please. I'm just saying that we selectively chose, since Obama came into office, as our terms for how long the hand salute should be held, and that's may have been just a practical concern. I have heard that it would have taken a very, very long time to hold a hand salute for 1 second for each individual who has committed suicide since the beginning of the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. And so I understand there's a practical concern there also. At any rate, there are a lot of service members who are going over there and making huge sacrifices of life, limb, and mind, to where they can't even come home and watch the fireworks on the 4th of July without flashbacks. But that doesn't need to be your only justification for bringing everybody home. And I'll tell you why. There's a moral concern here that I need you to put yourself into somebody else's shoes for just a minute in order to understand. What I want you to do is imagine that, okay, well, you don't even have to imagine it. There's something that's already happening that you can just listen to here. There's a gentleman in our country named George W. Bush who has been declared, I believe, by Malaysia as a war criminal. And now I want you to imagine that Malaysia, since they've said, okay, George W., you're a war criminal. We're going to hunt you down and kill you. Now, just imagine the Malaysian military. They fly in to wherever this dude happens to be here in the United States. With military planes, they drop paratroopers, right? The paratroopers land in the hills. They fucking, like, roll up into town. They break down the door of the house that George W. was in, and they fill him full of holes. They take his body, load it up onto a boat, and as they're sailing back to Malaysia, they dump him off the side. Just try to imagine what it feels like to be a citizen in one of the countries where we are considering a battlefield. Despite the fact that we have not declared war on any of these countries in the Middle East at all. Haven't declared war on them at all. Remember that. Nobody has declared war on these countries in the Middle East. We have military actions that are being executed without taking into consideration, like, with the Malaysian example, maybe the Malaysian government could have called the FBI and said, hey, we're going to be doing operations in your country. We have a war criminal that is hiding out on your land. Maybe we can collaborate on this. Or, God forbid, maybe Malaysia would call us up and say, let's have a trial of a war criminal that's in your country. Now, of course, this is all just metaphor. I'll explain it for those of you who aren't catching on. This is a metaphor for what we've been doing in Pakistan. As an example, all right, when we went and we just jumped in and killed Osama bin Laden. Now, I'm not saying that I would have preferred for Osama to be alive, and I feel like he's an enemy of our country, and I was stoked when I found out that he'd been killed. The fact of the matter is, we would not have appreciated it very much at all. And just imagine if you were a citizen living in the city that George W. got shot to death in. Right? I mean, you just see fucking people jumping out of helicopters and then busting down a door, kill a dude, drag his corpse out. I mean, like, and so maybe you call the police, you call 911. I don't know. Maybe you just assume that they already know. It should be rational to just assume that that the government knows about it if there's a military action in your country. This is an attitude that we have had for a while now that sort of goes above and beyond just bad foreign policy decisions. This is not just another Vietnam. This is a whole different creature here. We're talking about military action without the need to declare war or contact the governments of the nations that we're going into and conducting operations in, like real shit, like real operations that involve killing people, imprisoning them. I mean, I understand the reason why we went into Iraq and Afghanistan, both. And I sort of understand the rationale behind staying there for so long. I mean, after all, Saddam Hussein came to power as, some would say, as a result of our previous actions in Iraq. And look how that turned out for Iraq. And so perhaps it's more responsible to remain there for long enough to turn over control to a new government that we've installed there. I don't know. I mean, the thing about it is, though, as soon as they create a government, that government should be calling all the shots. It shouldn't be up to our president to decide how we're going to leave that country. If the government there says, okay, get out, we're done, thank you, bye-bye, maybe we should just fucking leave. Just a thought, maybe we should just leave. I don't know. There's an extent, though, to where it is totally the call of the president. For example, if the government there said, no, we need more help. I need more troops here to help keep the order of law here in my country. Yeah, that's the president's call. Sorry, we've given you a lot of blood. We've given you a lot of money. There's a certain point where you look at the bum on the street and you say, sorry, I got to feed my kid. I don't have $1 for you. I mean, is that cruel? You decide. But what I'm saying, though, is that every single foreign policy decision that we make as a nation should be based entirely on the idea of how would this feel if it was done to the United States. And I don't feel like we're doing that at all. We have drone strikes. I mean, people's houses are just mysteriously blowing up. As far as they know, people's houses are just blowing up. People are just getting shot out of the sky by drones that without any due process. And I'm not saying that non-citizens of the United States deserve due process by the American court system at all, but I feel like maybe the countries they live in might have something to say about whether or not they deserve due process, and the right route to go would be to have our government talk to their government and figure out if there's a way that we could work together. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not involved in policy making at all, and I don't know if maybe there was an effort to cooperatively work with Pakistan in bringing down Osama, or any of the other people that we've killed. Just like all the time, you read in the newspaper, yada yada yada, Muhammad Jihad was killed by a drone strike in Pakistan this weekend. Oh, okay. And then fucking Justin Bieber won on fucking American Idol. Ooh, interesting. And it's just like, it's in there. It's all the time. We're always reading about these people that are getting killed by drone strikes, and it's not such a big deal for us. It's a pretty big deal, I think, over there, though. I imagine that's kind of a fucking huge deal. If my neighbor got shot up by a drone that wasn't even a part of my government, it's just like somebody on the other side of the globe is operating this drone that shoots up my neighbor. I have no idea why. Yeah, I'm going to be pretty concerned. I'm going to be wondering if I'm next. And like I said, I just think that all of our foreign policy should be based on the idea of how would it feel if this happened in America. I mean, even the act of war, if we're in America and somebody declares war on us, and people come to our country to fight us, that's something I can fucking understand, and I can pull out a gun and go out and try to defend. You know, I mean, like, that's different. It's okay to declare war if Congress wants to declare war on a country, if they somehow grow the balls after all this time to actually declare war on a country for their political agenda. That's a different kind of thing, because the people in that country are going to know America has declared war on us, and when they see Americans, they're going to know what to do. It's not going to be this confusing thing where people are just randomly blowing up, and maybe I'm saying too much. Am I going to get a drone strike in my house now? I don't know, and that's the scary part. I don't know, but this is just how I feel about foreign policy, and I'm not saying that that's the only reason why we should pull everybody back. But I mean, obviously, I have friends who suffer from PTSD. It sucks. I hate seeing them get all fucked up like that. It pisses me off. And it scares me, and it makes me sad. It's not cool. There are a lot of veterans suffering, but that's not the only reason why it's time to bring everybody home. So I think I've ranted long enough now.